Ready? Bought a brand new hat, 43 years old. Stinks like mold, but it's got heaps of soul. Found a really cool bag, indigenous, I think. Who would know you could make up anything? You could make up anything. Shop till you drop. Got a funky dress, the rayon and polyester makes it clean. Got a shiny, slick, synthetic sheen. Pop shop. Shop till you drop. Blue collar dream. A special bargain machine. Line up, sift through, find a gem in the paraphernalia, in the dream, and the dream. Third hand, excellent. Fourth hand, intelligent. It's sustainable. Shop till you drop. It's inflammable. Shop. One man's junk. Shop till you drop. Is another man's finest love. Carrie didn't make it cool. It's always been my intention to shop at the op shop, find a find, share and share alike. Shop at the op shop shopping. Shop at the op shop shopping.
Well, hi guys.
Huh? Hey, what's going on?
G'day to you, mob.
What's happening?
Hello.
It's a bit windy. You got wind where you are, Josh?
I'm in Dayboro. It's a very nice day here. A few clouds in the sky.
It's blowing up a gale here. Very chilly, but quite nice.
Okay.
My hair looks like a 1980s rock music video blowing in the smoke machine, the wind machine.
Fuck yeah.
I have safety precaution just in case.
Nice one.
How's everyone going? What's been happening?
Rough sleep last night. Bed at the motel was crap. So I ended up on the couch.
Was it better than the bed?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, we're just out here heading into getting ready for winter, you know?
What a concept. Oh, let me do some hellos to people. Huawei first in today. Massive bucket of kudos for that, mate. Well done, James H. How are you? Kat McKenzie, another early bird. An early bird today. Well done, Kat. Sterlo, how are you, Mark? And that's about all of us here at the moment, unless I'm going to get this huge jump in the chat. So, yeah, I guess you're business tripping, are you then, Z-Beam?
Sure am. Did
Getting a
Brisbane
few
City
orders?
yesterday. That was awesome. Being out in
Yeah,
the big city.
I do like old Brisbane town. It's a nice city. Traffic's always nuts, but that you get that in the city, innit?
We paid, what was it, $62 to park for 4 hours at the Maya Centre.
Crikey.
Yeah.
They don't miss
But
you,
it's,
do they?
oh, well, we've got to park there because if we park anywhere else in a parking station that's cheaper, it's just such a shit fight to walk everywhere with all the gear. So carrying all the big boxes is security risk, and I had to put the shush on Emma and tell her to shut the fuck up because she started talking about stuff while we're out in front of everyone else. Like, no, honey, save it for the car.
We don't have massive boxes of jewellery parading through the street.
Yeah.
G'day, PNW. Jen, how are you? Welcome. Yeah, it's always a sketchy moment when you're looking over your shoulder in the city, not knowing who's a goodie and who's a villain.
Oh, I had my Venom and Carnage t-shirt on, and one of the staff at a little corner store said, "Aren't they both evil?" And I said, "Well, they're different levels of evil. You know, Carnage is just pure chaos, but Venom, you know, if you're a good person, Venom will look after you." So, and basically, if anyone tried to do a runner with any of our boxes, they're so gimped because they're not used to how to carry that weight. So it'd be fun for me if someone tried.
And tried to jog with a heavy box.
Not happening.
G'day, Kiwi Marmite. Yeah, that's an opportunity missed to explain to someone the what do you call it? What is it in Dungeons and Dragons? Yeah, chaotic
Encumbrance.
chaotic evil.
Yeah, chaotic evil versus chaotic neutral.
The different variants of how
or
evil.
lawful evil.
Yeah, that was always a fun one for me to consider how they go together.
Lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral seems the most sensible. Chaotic neutral is probably the most fun.
Chaotic
evil would be,
yeah.
surely.
You're more free as a chaotic neutral entity. More opportunities.
That's true.
You just don't want those lawful goods. Those lawful goods, they're just as bad as
the
bads.
They're no fun to be around.
Yeah, everything's a problem.
I was going to say, that was Dungeons and Dragons corner, ladies and others. What's been going on with you? Just an average billion. Just an average billionaire. There we go.
Just deep sea adventures. You know, stocks and bonds, trading. You know. Oh God, Huawei needs my direct link to my billionaire fund. Hold on, let me get it.
The billionaire fund. Do you have the opportunity to change the name of your membership scheme to that?
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Customize it.
I might be able to do that. I mean, I could theme it to the billionaire theme. You know, 1 stock, 2 stock, hostile takeover.
Bear market. Whatever that means.
Bear market for $1. $1 a month. That's the bear market.
Bear market's when you sell much lower than par, isn't it? Is it?
A bear market's just a conservative market, you know,
right.
Generally going down or just staying flat, you know, that kind of stuff. But as they say, there are investment opportunities, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've never had enough spare cash to throw around in the stock market.
Better off investing in real things.
Of late, what have I been up to? Just, you know, work, nonsense. BS, you know. As far as my like media intake this last week, and I mentioned it yesterday, and I'm gonna mention it again. There's a documentary from the 2015 earthquake on Everest, and it's a 3-part documentary on Netflix. It's called Everest something something something.
Okay.
Good stuff. Good viewing.
It's really good. It definitely it highlights the earthquake, and it highlights what happened in Nepal, in Kathmandu, and then the valley, and then what happened on Everest. It's called Aftershock: Everest and the Nepal earthquake,
When was the earthquake?
2015.
Was that when they discovered old mate's body, or did they discover old mate's body way ago? Mallory, I think, wasn't it? George Mallory.
Oh, there's lots of bodies on Everest.
Oh yeah. But he was
There's,
like one of the
there's
first.
lots of dead people up there.
I thought it was
Yes.
something like an earthquake that exposed his corpse, and they found it.
I think that's what happened, but I think a lot of it has to do with just changes in climate, weather systems, then earthquakes, whatever. Sometimes bodies get exposed. The reason that they're up there is because they can't bring them back down. They really, you can't. Most of the bodies that are way up there, it's because you cannot do a rescue mission that high up, because you're probably going to die doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So the last legs of all of the high peaks, whether it's K2 or Everest or any of that kind of stuff, your body is dying like while you're up there. You're already carrying lots of gear, so it's not as though you're in a pair of shorts or something, right? You have your oxygen with you. You generally have to wear some kind of mask or whatnot. And the people are already dead, right? So you're not trying to save somebody who's alive. You're just trying to get somebody's body and then bring it down. So here's a frozen corpse, like it's just not worth the risk. Like, people would risk a rescue mission up to a certain point if somebody's stuck up there, but a lot of the people that die on Everest or K2 or McKinley or whichever mountain, the Big Seven, if they die up in the death zone, which is up above however many thousand feet, I don't remember exactly what they mark it at. What is it, over 25,000 or something? If you just stop and sit down, which a lot of people have died this way, is they just stop and sit down, right? And
they never move again.
What people can do is like talk to you and try to get you to move. They can't try to carry you. They can't try to push you. There's nothing that they can really do. It's just like, you have to get up and move, right? Like, that's the best tool that you have, is like, figure it out or you're going to die, and more often than not, when they sit down, they already have, I forget the term for it, but they're basically running so low on oxygen. Oxygen, it's probably just like oxygen deprivation. I'm sure there's a term for it, but they're so low on oxygen that their brain is starting to shut down, and your body just goes into, well, just sit down and try and preserve ourselves. But it's like negative 40 degrees up there, and there's not going to be more air, right?
You'd be blacking out.
Your body doesn't know that. So a lot of times what these people do is they just sit down, and there's really nothing that anyone else can do to try and help them. Sometimes people can be lowered by a rope, but you're really risking your own life to the point where you probably will die trying to do that, right? And a lot of the bodies that are up there are just that case, that like the human body can't exert that much energy up there to like dig a body out and pick it up and carry it and bring it down, right? And like I said, you're not saving somebody from dying. Oftentimes they've been dead for 30 years or something,
and very well preserved.
And very well preserved. Very, very well preserved. That's the thing that sounds the scariest to being up there and then like encountering a new body is that like they're very well preserved.
That's when looting the corpse would come in. Like, instead of bringing the body back, you'd bring back their wedding ring or a pendant they might be wearing. You know,
most
and
people
bring it
aren't.
back to the family.
Most people aren't wearing anything like that
Right.
up there. Everything will be left at like Camp 4 on Everest, or Camp 3 or base camp. Like you wouldn't take extra weight with you, really. Like,
Right.
you know, you might take a piece of jewelry or something like that, but the really important stuff is going to be left behind. Like there's really, you know, I mean, it's like you wouldn't bring like your grandma's heirloom up there. Like, I got it with me. You know, it's like, why'd you bring that up here? It's extra weight. What are you doing, dummy? You know, like, Mark Stelson says hypoxic. I think that's right. I think it's hypoxic something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so it's, you know, but you basically have no.
The right term.
It's hypoxia, yeah. But you know, you have no oxygen. That's basically what's happening. Your body's goes into all these crazy breakdown modes, and you're dying while you're up there. Like you just have X amount of time to survive. That's it.
Yeah. G'day, GRB. Did you get my email, mate? Let us know. And Donny G, how are you, Don? Good to see you, mate. Yeah, I don't think I'd be much into mountain climbing. This one out the back here is tall enough for me.
Mountain climbing's great, but the real extreme stuff is just what's the point here? You know, I mean, I get it. Man's conquest to blah blah blah, but like they even highlight it really well in that documentary. And I think it's worth watching for that. It's also worth watching for what a big earthquake was like in the third world. What it was like, because it follows different groups of people. It follows different groups of people on Everest. It follows different groups of people on the ground. It follows different groups of people in the city. And I honestly, I thought it was really, really, really well done. And for it being a 3-part, like 45-minute episode each, you really run this real. It's a real powerful story for only being like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something. You know what I mean? There's a lot of highs and a lot of lows and a lot of interesting stuff that you're like, oh, that had not occurred to me like at all. Like, you know, it's like, so definitely worthwhile.
Thanks, JB. Good to know. What's up?
but like your typical mountaineering where you're like a big peak. Like I think Mount Rainier is like what, 15,000 feet, I think. How high is Mount Rainier? 15, 16, something like that. 14.4. You know, Mount Rainier would like take somebody who's just average good shape. Like you don't have to be like a super athlete or anything like that. A lot of people climb Mount Rainier every year. And on average, it takes them about 2 days because you go up, you camp, and then early you go make your ascent. And then the next day you're coming all the way back down. But that's like 14,000 feet. Definitely totally doable. There's nothing weird about being at 14,000 feet other than you're high up at the top. You're not dying. It's not great. It's not great for you.
A little bit thinner, but it's not heaps thinner.
Yeah. I mean, people ski at 15,000 feet, 14,000 feet, 12,000 feet. So you get a little bit winded up that high for sure, but you're not like, oh my God, we're going to die in 20 minutes or something, you know. Jen, you watched it and agree it's really good. Yeah, it was really good. I didn't even know what to expect going into it, but it was really well done. I think it was like, I don't think you have to be a mountaineer or a fan of any of that to have really enjoyed, because there's a definite humanity side of it. Because all the buildings collapsing and they interviewed all the people involved in rescue efforts and all that kind of stuff, and it was well done. I don't know. I watched that.
And see if it's on Australian Netflix. What was I watching? Venture Brothers. I went back to Venture Brothers because I found it streaming on a streaming site, and all my illegal downloads are not very good quality. So watched it and watched. I still got 2 episodes. No, I finished it last night. Season 7, the last one before the final movie comes out next year or whenever it is. Such a good
Nice.
show.
Yeah. I've
Jen
been
says, "What
forced
did
to
you
watch.
think of the guy that took the money, Joel?"
What's that?
Jen says, "What did you think of the guy that took the money?"
Well, there's really nothing. There's really nothing good to say about that guy. There really is nothing good to say about that guy. And even when they were interviewing him after the fact, so this is like years later, they're interviewing him. Maybe like last year, or I don't know how, very recently to make this documentary. They interviewed a lot of people. There's this group of Israeli guys that went to this town, and then they decided, well, we're going to go to the next town because there's this like lookout. We want to see it. So we're going to leave instead of just staying in this town. So they go up to that town. The next day, earthquake, right? The town that they're at, there's a lot of damage, chaos, stuff going on. But they're like, okay, cool. They group up, grab their gear. They go back to the town that they just left on their way down. They eventually get there thinking like, oh, wow, we got away from the damage of the town, and now we're just hiking back home. It's time to go and leave and go home. Well, that town that they were at the day before is completely gone. It's completely gone. Like,
Raised.
it is gone. And so only some of the villagers survived from that city, not very many. Or from that town. And the Israeli guys went down into the ruins to go get and to try to find food in the rubble of the town. The whole town is gone. I mean, the 90% of this town died. Earthquake, and the hill came down, and the hill covered everyone, basically. So they went down there, and they found this lockbox. They busted open this lockbox, and one of the guys had busted it open, and it was full of money. It was somebody's life savings, right? And he decided to take the money out of the lockbox and put it into a bag and bring it with him for some unknown reason. He really couldn't. He really was like disingenuous about what happened, because they were like, "Why did you take the money?" And he was like, I thought that I should take it out of there. And you're like, why? It's not your money. No one needs money. It's a natural disaster. Like, why? Well, I don't know. And then he was lying about it being locked. He was like, well, because everyone else said it was locked and that guy broke it open. But the guy that broke it open was like, no, it was unlocked. And then they go, everyone else said it was locked. And he goes, oh, well, I don't remember. I guess it could have been locked. And you're like, what the fuck, man? This guy's a liar. Like, And then, so he's got the bag full of money. The bag full of money also has the ID of the guy whose money it was. Because he grabbed all of the money and all of the documents out of this guy's lockbox, a small safe, basically, right? And then he goes back to town, and the remaining villagers are like, why do you have this money? What? We told you not to go down to the town. We told you not to go scavenge for stuff. You went down there. You didn't find food. You didn't bring back food. You brought back somebody's money. Like, and why do you have somebody's money? What do you need money for? What's the deal? And there was a big fight. Like, people picked up rocks and they were like smashing each other over the head with rocks and all this crazy stuff. And then like the young guys, the Israeli guys, they tried to like vilify the villagers. Like, the villagers are attacking us, and it's like you robbed them in a time of like all everyone they know just died. Like, It's not like they're just missing or went on a vacation and you like robbed their house or something. They are all dead, and you just robbed from them, right?
It's a low blow.
Yeah, it was really messed up. But you really have to watch it because you're like, what the fuck? Like, what happened with these idiots? Like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not doing the story justice because there's a lot of working parts. They actually interview the town elder now, like modern day. Like, you know, this has only happened like 7 years ago, so it's pretty fresh. You know, people remember what happened. It wasn't that long ago that they're like, well, you know, before my beard was gray. You know, it's not like
G'day, Kenny.
It's not like they're trying to remember 50 years ago the war or something. You know, it's but it was very
fresh.
It's very interesting. Of like,
if they were rescuing gemstones, I could understand it, but rescuing cash money, like that's just stupid. Like
it's not rescuing. The guy broke open the lockbox. Probably.
I know. But if there was gems, I could understand. But for cash, that's leave it where you found it, dickhead. Like,
well, no. Here's the thing. Like, it wouldn't matter if you found somebody's lockbox and you wanted to save the lockbox from
take the whole thing,
disappearing or something. Yeah. You wouldn't break it open to find out what was inside. No. You would just pick it up. You would pick it up and be like, hey, this lockbox was down there. I don't know whose it is, but it has a lock on it, and it seems like it's important. So I just, somebody from the village, if here you go. I found it. I didn't want to find it. I just picked it up as it was, and I brought it back here. You wouldn't smash the lock open, take all the stuff out, put it in a bag, and then start carrying that bag around. Like, what? You know, and understandably, in my head, I'm going, I could understand the motivation of finding what would the equivalent would be like a small safe, right? A little lockbox. And going like, shoot, that's probably valuable. I'm already down here. I'm just going to bring it up and put it with the villagers. They'll figure it out, right? I can understand that motivation. That makes sense to me. But all the other parts of it, of breaking it open, putting it in a bag, bringing it up, and then acting weird when somebody realizes that they spot you with a bag full of cash. It's like a bunch of bundles of cash. It's not like he stole $10 or something. It's all these bundles of money, and the guy's like document paperwork was all in there.
Right.
And the guy died. And it was like the brother-in-law of the town elder, right?
Right.
It's like the brother-in-law of the town elder or somebody like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so weird. And you're just like, why? Like,
why? Yeah.
What are you doing?
When we moved into our house 22 years ago, in the garage was quite a large safe. Like, it weighs a good 500 kilos. Like, it's massive. Yeah, and it was locked. Yeah, it's huge old vintage safe. It was a beautiful piece. And my father-in-law was staying in our house while we were away for a couple of months, and we came home and he'd left, and he'd hacksawed off the hinges and damaged the safe rather than getting it picked nicely. And so the safe's totally busted. And I'm like, you bastard, man. The mystery was what was really cool about the safe, because we couldn't open it. It was just sitting in the garage. Who knows what's in it? But we come home and find the hinges cut off and the door loose. And I'm like, what the fuck? And we confronted him. Well, we confronted him and he said, I didn't do it. I don't know what you're talking about. Typical father-in-law movement.
So in that,
oh my God.
So in that documentary, the villagers are like trying to kill these guys, right? And I can say I commiserate with that vibe. I think if I was in that position, I probably would have had the same reaction. Like, you're trying to steal. Okay, yeah, this is okay. Well, that's what's happening now. That's what's up. You know, like, and this is a town where there's no cell phone service, there's no internet, there's no contact with the outside world. Like, it's not like there's police officers where you go like, well, we got to put these boys in jail. It's just like, you better behave, because people are going to hit you over the head with a rock. Like that's the rule of the land there, you know. Like, so
Yeah, and
I don't know. I
theft
don't know
is
what,
probably one of the most severe crimes they encounter in small
right?
villages and whatnot.
Because
So
that guy, the elder explains at one point, he goes like, "I'm a Buddhist, right? You don't steal, you don't harm other people, you don't do that. That's the whole basis of my understanding of like being a human on Earth, right? This is not something. These are things that you don't do, period." And he goes, "I don't think that they're human because of that. You know, it's basically like you're elevated below, sort of, or not elevated, but lowered, right?" And he still does not have a good opinion of them, but they definitely tried to put a big spin on it that like, well, you know, it was just we're trying to get the money back to him, you know, or whatever. You know, it's just like this is nonsense, man. There's just no. But it's wild that they like left the town, because apparently they only had like 4 days left on their trip in Nepal, and they like hiked to this first town. And they were like pretty tired or whatever, but they made the decision to hike to the next town, and then they were going to stay there one night and then hike back to the original town, and then head back to the airport after that, right? So it was literally like the morning of, they left, hiked up, earthquake. They left the town that was completely destroyed, and then, you know, came back and then tried to rob dead people of money.
yeah,
Totally crazy. It was crazy. Hey, did everybody hit the like button and subscribe and become a member and buy a shirt and buy some art? Do all that stuff. Oh, is that the beer goggles test?
Yeah.
What does it say?
Can you go back to the phone rates poster as well?
Yeah.
That's great.
That's back in the day when landlines existed.
Still exists here. Still exists.
Where'd you say,
Well,
Debra?
Yes,
That's how
they still
fast it is.
exist,
Yeah.
but your wife. They still exist, but your wife's not calling the landline at the bar.
Oh, depends on which town you're in Australia. For sure. It still
Yeah,
happens.
lots of older Australian blokes don't carry mobile phones around with them,
Yeah.
especially dudes who are hanging out in pubs half their day.
Yeah. Incommunicato.
Well, yeah, okay. I don't know.
It's a different world in Australia. We've still got the old schools with the new school.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. We have Alaska. Good luck matching that. But they still would call the cell phone of somebody at the bar. Like, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying is my point. They wouldn't call the bar phone. You know, I mean, they used to like 20 years ago. The payphone at the bar would ring. You know,
Right.
and just like go pick up the payphone, and it's like, yeah, hello, Bill. Okay, let me see. You know, and then like. Go look around like, hey, Bill here, and then you know, and then you see him like, you know, it's like, no, Bill's not here. Who am I? It doesn't matter. What? Huh? Nope. Then just hang up on him, you know. But yeah, there's like, do you guys still have payphones around?
Yeah.
Very few.
Very few.
Yep.
Yeah, we have very few too. They
Yeah,
are rare.
Unfortunately, our
Frida.
main phone company invested a lot of money equipping a lot of our payphones with Wi-Fi, so you can go and stand next to a payphone and use the Wi-Fi. If they didn't invest a large sum of money in doing that about 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I'm sure we'd have even less payphones.
Right.
Yeah, I think, what is there? Probably still 2 in Mullumbimby? Or did you say 3 before?
I think there's 2. Yeah,
Because
they definitely cut them down.
there's not the 2 near the post office anymore, is there? The one in the newsagents, that's got the Wi-Fi thing on it.
Yep, and one near Commonwealth Bank.
Is there? Where's the one there?
At the front of the old bank that's now op shop.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so
They're free to use. They're free to use to send. You can call any landline for free from any public payphone now,
Oh, I didn't know that.
and you can use them to text as well for free.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I suppose that's one way to get them used.
my friend used to have the phone freaking technology. He got access to one of the technicians' tape recorded voicemail, and he would. That technician had stopped using it years ago, but the server infrastructure was there. So he could give people a phone number and they'd call it and leave him a message on the old tape recorder somewhere at some office somewhere. And he'd have the access codes to play back all the messages. And he also had the access code to be able to go up to the payphone and punch in a number. And then it would spit back and tell you its home number, like what number you need to ring to call that payphone. Very handy. Super handy.
Well, they used to have their numbers on them.
Right.
So you could say, I'm at this payphone, you can call this number to get me. But that was back when they were those big old chunky blue metal things.
Yeah.
With the rotary dial still.
Nice. I miss the rotary dials. Clickety clack.
Yeah, that's why I always find it silly that we have 000 as our emergency phone number when 0 takes the longest to come around on a dial.
Yeah, but it's the one you need to be the most cautious of doing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Valid.
No accidentals, 000. And 911 was the hoax. No, I'm joking. It was serious, but predictive programming was pretty hectic to choose that date. Sorry to bring up conspiracy shit.
What else? What else can we talk about? Did you hear about those Nigerian customs found 7,000 donkey penises someone was trying to ship to China?
No. It's pretty common as far as I know.
Yeah, Hessian bags seem to be an excellent idea for shipping flesh overseas.
Oh, God.
So yeah, the customs officials were alerted to the bags by the fragrances coming out of the sacks.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, then some lucky human had to count them so they could work out they had 7,000 odd donkey penises across 17 sacks or something. That was a great story, I thought.
That's really odd considering donkeys are genetically unviable. Like that's not really juju. The Chinese medicine. That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe they're not after the virility, just the big power or whatever. Big nation.
Right. Carne.
Yeah, that's a weird move.
And yeah, are they lopping them off live donkeys and leaving the donkeys alive, or did all those donkeys have to die to sacrifice their penises?
That I don't know.
I wonder what donkey donkey. Not mule. Sorry, you said donkey. Donkeys are genetically viable. Look,
Mules are the crop,
donkey could taste good. I don't know. I'd suggest that.
I mean,
Siberians
it tastes.
and stuff would eat it,
as far as I know, it tastes a lot like horse. So,
and that's supposed to be delicious.
horse?
Yeah.
No, it's not that great.
Okay.
Well, and one of the main reasons for that is that like the usability of the animal is much more important than the meat, right?
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
not. I mean, here's the deal. You might eat like a horse that's a year old, and it might be good or something, but no one in their right mind would shoot or butcher a horse
especially
that
a
has a
working one.
horse just for eating or whatever. Like it
Yeah.
wouldn't make any sense, right?
And
Yeah.
Because
if you
because
ate
you're
one
like
that's
because you're like I could ride this horse for the next 30 years, or eat it, I guess. So it just doesn't really exist. And then like from my understanding, because I know some guys that have to they have to hunt wild horse. They have to shoot them, like the ones that come up lame. And in certain areas, like wild horses, there's like too many of them, so they have to go like cull the herd and whatnot. But like the wild horses, they essentially. I know this sounds bad or whatever, but it gets turned into dog food because it's not really something you want to be eating. So
Yep. That's the fate of a lot of horses in Australia. They're knackery.
yeah.
That's what
So
they go.
I mean, my presumption would be that like if horse or donkey was delicious, it'd be on the menu in the States. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everything's on the menu here. You can order anything to eat.
Except
From
for whale.
alligator, you can order whale. I've had blue whale before. Had whale
Yeah,
meat.
right.
Huh?
wow.
Because you can order whale meat for religious heritage ceremony. So part of the Nordic heritage was they roasted a whale, not a whole whale, obviously, but they got a whale roast in. I don't know the origin of it, but as far as I know, it was all paperworked and all that. So as far as I know, it was harvested humanely, I don't really endorse whale hunting, but I tried it because I was at the Heritage Museum when they had done it, and I will tell you this: it's better than lutefisk.
Better than
I will
what?
say that it's better than lutefisk.
Is that ages old pickled stuff?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
vintage roll
Now I'll
mops?
tell you, there was as much lutefisk as you wanted to eat. There was a boatload of it there. There was as many portions of that as you wanted. The boy howdy, you could have as many as you wanted. It just tastes like gelatinous, like sort of fish nothingness, but it smells bad. The funk is a strong. I would say that the flavor of lutefisk is not all that intense. It's really it's
Crikey.
not super
Prepared with-
flavorful.
Huawei says it's prepared with lye, which is an incredibly caustic cleaning solution, is it not?
That is,
used
yeah.
in-
It's essentially put into you put all the fish bones and everything into a bucket with some lye, and then you leave it there for however many months until the lye is done processing it.
Oh, there you go. Kenny's into it too.
Man, Ken's into it. Ken loves it. It's brutal. It's brutal. I don't know. The funk is a bit to get over.
I can imagine.
It's just gelatinous nonsense. But here's the thing. Like, if I lived in Norway 400 years ago or something, and it was the food, I would eat it.
You'd
I'd
be
just
conditioned to it.
Yep, I'm not going to die. I'm not dying today. I will eat that. That's all the food we got. I'm eating it. I wouldn't care. What was that?
It was me scaring off a bin chicken. Didn't scare him very far though.
I would say the thing that was the thing
Need
that's
something
like
fried.
commonplace that people love that I don't like is smoked salmon.
Yeah,
Smoked
I
salmon.
prefer it non-smoked.
Yeah, smoked salmon to me is just like, I don't know, man. It's just like, I don't know. I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna go jogging. I'm gonna go jogging instead.
Have you ever had good Finnish cured salmon with the dill and other herbs?
Yeah.
It's a bit different. It is still smoked, but it's usually salted. That is the top tier stuff. Love it, especially cured trout. Mm.
Yeah, I've had cured trout, lox, whatever, I've had all
Yeah,
that. But smoked salmon is like, it's so common. Everyone comes here and they get smoked salmon because it's the thing. I come from where the salmon is from, you know.
right. Yeah.
Um, so it's like you go to any shop and it's like the flavor of the Pacific Northwest, smoked salmon, and I'm like, you got anything else, man? How about
Mm.
just some salmon? You got that?
Mm.
You got some halibut? I'll have some halibut. Yeah.
Mm. Did you get kingfish over there?
Kingfish. What do you mean?
I know it's just a common sashimi fish here in Australia. Kingfish.
I wonder what the. I wonder what it's like. Yellowtail amberjack. Yeah, I've had yellowtail amberjack. Yeah,
Delicious.
you guys just call it kingfish, but it's yellowtail.
And my favorite is red snapper Thai.
Yeah,
Yeah, snapper's delish.
red snapper's good.
Red snapper sashimi. Damn. That stuff's the goods.
The tiger shovel nose catfish. Have you ever tried this?
I haven't.
Yeah, we had it in Peru. Caught it out of the old river there, and people love them because they're an aquarium fish. They get gigantic though, so I don't. It's not for the faint of heart for somebody with a tiny aquarium. They get quite big. They'll eat anything in your aquarium. We ate a bunch of those in Peru because it was like what the boys wanted. Like Corey and Dean and everybody was all like, "We need a tiger nose shovel catfish," and yeah, that was definitely a distinctive fish flavor that I never really tried. That was distinct.
It was passable, edible.
Although the thing I liked about Peru was the Chinese food. Believe it or not.
Yeah, right.
Well, because like in Iquitos has they have a indigenous. Well, they have like Chinese. Well, basically, the Chinese were brought over as slaves for the rubber trade, right? And then they have just stayed there. And so all the descendants of those people, a lot of them have opened restaurants, and they're like traditional Chinese with some subtle Peruvian flair. And I like the Chinese district. That was good. I liked it. I liked it there. That food was dope.
What's left, sir?
What about bonito flakes? Do you like those, Corvus?
Bonito flakes?
Yeah. They dry it into a block and then use a planer, like a wood planer, to shave off thin slices of the bonito block and put it on top of Japanese dishes. And it's like cellulose. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it dances in the steam of the broth. It's beautiful, but it's pretty smoky.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. It's
It's
not like
delicious.
smoky things. It's just smoked salmon. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I like smoked things. Yeah, smoked salmon. I'm just like, ugh. I don't know.
Had enough.
Lefse is like that goofy potato cake thing. The potato skinny. It's like a potato crepe. In Idaho City, there's a huge mass grave for all of the Chinese rail workers and slaves. That's true. What's the big bar and search Idaho City? What's the big bar and hotel in Idaho City? What's the name of that? There's a bar and a hotel. What was that place called? No. Scrolling through Idaho City. What was that place called? Oh my God! What?
That place, you know.
Idaho City? Idaho City, it sounds like it's a city. It's not. It's a whole mining town up
Yeah.
in the hills. And my uncle used to own the restaurant and bar there,
Okay.
and the hotel. What was this place called? I don't remember the name of it.
What are they mining in Idaho?
What do they mine in Idaho?
Silver.
You don't know, Mr. Gem Man?
No, I don't. I have no idea.
Idaho is called the Gem State for a reason.
Yeah, right.
That's where
Yummy.
they have all the gems, man. All of it is in Idaho.
Wow.
Emeralds, rubies,
Ooh.
diamond,
Ooh.
gold, silver.
Oh.
There's like where's that gem thing? Gem hunting Idaho. Let's see. There's this big, so they have calcite, beryl, quartz, feldspar, fluorite, quartz, emerald. There's a rock hounding. Here it is. So in Idaho, there's a bunch of public lands that you can go rock hounding on.
Yeah, nice.
You just go out there and go and look for whatever gems you want. Where's the good one? There's like a really good one I went to. We went hiking around for a couple of days and found a bunch of shit. There's geodes, there's agates, there's all sorts of gemstones. It's weird. There's a lot of topographical nonsense and gems all over the place. It's a weird.
Get him, Blacky?
It's a weird place, man.
Yeah, cool. Lots of crossover. Sounds like very interesting territory to go for a walk and wonder. Maybe come packing a pressure cleaner. Because that's high pressure water mining is all the rage these days. As long as you've got a water supply, you can just shoot that water at high PSI and it just cleans up the dirt and reveals all the goodness. Beats digging and blasting, that's for sure.
So yeah, Huawei, my uncle used to own the RV park and the hotel and the restaurant and the bar, whatever that was called in Idaho City. So I've been there a few times up in the hills. My uncle was a ski bum in Sun Valley back in the day. Because I don't know how old would he be now? He'd be like 72, 73, something like that. He was a ski bum way back in the day, and he started working in the restaurants and became a chef in Sun Valley and lived in a van. And he just lived in a van, and he skied and he cooked, and I'm sure he drank beer and stuff. Until he realized, like, wow, I've got a whole bunch of money saved up from just being a ski bum for like 20 years. And so he took the money and he went and bought the restaurant and bar, and then did a bunch of building on it and built up a bunch of stuff there in Idaho City. And then one day he was feeling sick because he'd been feeling sick for a while. He went down to Boise and to the doctor, and they were like, man, something's wrong with you. We got to run a bunch of tests. We're going to find out what's going on, though. Turns out he had stage 4 lung cancer.
Oosh.
Went through treatment for like a month, and then they stopped his treatment.
Because he was that far gone?
No, because he was dead.
Ah, right.
Yeah, they stopped treating his corpse. They stopped doing that.
Wise.
And then his wife owned it for some period of time or whatever. He never had any kids or anything like that. So eventually she got tired of, doing a thing that she really was never all that, deeply invested in. So I think she sold it off and married some other guy and whatever. I don't know. I don't know what happened to her.
She dropped off the radar as soon as the family connection wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. Well, there was a bunch of times that my dad's side of the family, like, they were trying to convince me to, like, move out there and take over the business. But, like, A, I didn't have any money to do that with. And then B, I wasn't really that close with my dad's side of the family. Like, I knew them, but I wasn't really, like, super close to them. So when he died, it was like, well, like, okay, like my dad's brother was never around really. Like, we'd go visit him, kind of thing. Once every like 2 years or whatever, we'd go visit him. He wasn't like showing up to stuff, kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Too busy skiing and drinking beer.
But nowadays it's like, damn, I probably would dig living in Idaho City. You're just out there just far enough. Just far enough that people aren't bothering you all the time. Just half the time.
Spoil sports that run away now.
Is that actually?
So I've been unfortunate. I've been forced to watch some series on Netflix called The Crown, because Emma started watching it after the Queen died, and oh my god, the accents fucking drill me. I fucking get so annoyed with how out of touch they are, and then the episode last night came on about them visiting Australia and Bob Hawke's depiction, and I was like, fuck yeah, this is awesome.
Who played
oh my
Bob
god.
Hawke?
Some nobody,
Right.
but
Got the part on looks.
Got the part on looks and accent, and the Queen's reaction about, he's got the world record for drinking a yard glass. What's a yard glass? And I'm like, wow, oh, this is hilarious.
As if she wouldn't know.
Yeah, and the whole story about Margaret Thatcher and her bullshit and how fucked she was. Oh my god, what a fucking bitch. Fucking hell. And then there was this story about this rando who'd been unemployed for a number of years and lost his family, and he broke into Buckingham Palace not once but twice just to have a sit down with the Queen and have a talk to her. And he wasn't violent. They put him away, and he wanted to have a chat with the Queen.
He made it like right into a very important room or something, like right into a bedroom.
Into a bedroom.
Yeah,
woke her up. Yeah. Woke her up, wasn't mean at all. Hilarious. And it because he'd had experience in renovations and house fix-ups, he was like criticizing the Queen, saying, for all this majesty and all this beautiful building, it's dilapidated as fuck, It's just, you're not looking after the place at all. It's like decrepitness. Needs new wallpaper, needs new paint job. All the fittings are old, and then he hassles her. Look, he notices her toothbrush is an analog toothbrush, and was like, "You're the Queen. You don't even have an electric toothbrush. What the fuck? Get with the future,
Get with it."
Yeah. So I've been tortured, but at the same time, subtly enjoying The Crown. It's
occasional
quite an
amusement.
eye opener. Yeah, the occasional amusement. Yeah.
What about She-Hulk? Have you watched that?
Yeah, it's rad. Oh, love her. She-Hulk is the green machine. She's so hot when she's in that form. Oh my god.
And we got a nice little cameo from Daredevil in the 8th episode. Or was that the last episode?
I haven't seen that one yet.
No,
Good
I
stuff.
won't say anything about it. But yeah, it's good
That's
to see
good.
Matty Murdoch back. Yeah, I've had to pause my hunting spree, Sterlo. I've sufficiently scared the bin chickens off. And then the magpie came back. I'm scaring the ibises off the chicken carcass that I put out for my magpie, who's trying to support a family.
Yeah.
Scare the ibises away. But then the magpie came back.
Mhm.
And then a raven came in as well, which I'm trying to tempt, so I won't scare the raven away or the magpie. But the ibises have learnt their lesson. They're staying out in the paddock for now.
Nice.
I've got the chicken carcass conveniently positioned where my target zone, directly behind the target zone, is a macadamia nut tree. So if I miss the birds, the ball is supposed to bounce off the tree and come back to me.
Okay.
It mostly happens. I'm still fairly accurate with the throwing.
Oh, last Friday I was in Wollongbar and went to the pet shop, and they had gravel that was in a wet bag, this white gravel, and it was like bacterially inoculated gravel.
Mhm.
It's like Star Wars technology backed up, and you put it in your fish situation, and it converts the ammonia into nitrates. And I put it in, and for 2 days it was a bit cloudy as the bacteria went to work.
Bloom.
But now the water's so clear, it's beautiful. So, and then I went to Mullen Pet Shop and I got myself 4 snails for free, and a bit of weed and a little strand of Elodia they had floating in the tank that they know they can't sell because it's illegal in New South Wales. So I've restocked my fish bowl, and now all that's left to do is to get out to the creeks and harvest some little shrimpage. Because when they molt, the fish just go nuts and they eat them up. So live food for your fish is super important, I think, keeping them happy.
Mhm.
And my big chunks of basalt, since I leveled my pH, have all bloomed in this beautiful deep green algae. It's like rock moss, but underwater rock moss. It's gorgeous. The fish are happy. The little snails I put in there should have plenty of food. I can't wait for this moss to get longer and fluffier.
I've still got, roughly 1,000 snails if you need more.
The ones at the pet shop were they're like beach cone snails. They had all lumpy bits on them. They're really cool. So I only got like 4 or 5, but they'll breed up, I reckon. It's good to get a fresh start from the natives.
Yeah, I went into that pet shop in Mullen just the other day, but only to get some birdseed, and yeah, I sort of don't even really. I have a glance at the tanks, but yeah, it's pretty rare that she's got anything decent in there these days. Just all those standard ones that people put in their tank and kill in a month and then need to replace.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
She's got a mouth to feed as well, so you got to run a business to make money, not just to keep people happy.
Yep. Well, because I'm in public and I've got to go to the bathroom, I'm going to sign off and I might come back later on, guys.
All right. Too easy.
See you.
All right.
He's got to pee.
Pee well.
Yeah. Pee well. Yes, I will. I pee freely. All right. Bye.
Righto. Shark, as in the big black shark from my second most watched video ever. Huawei, is that what you're talking about? And if so, no, he's long gone. That video was like 3 years ago or something. And that's right. There's a funny story regarding the removal of that shark. We went to a fish shop up at Tweed Heads, which is just about 40 minutes north of here.
Mm-hmm.
The owner of the fish shop had a buyer for the black shark. It was like a 45 centimetre long black shark, so nearly 2 foot long.
Yeah.
Pardon me. And this dude absolutely wanted it, put it in a tank with a bunch of reasonably expensive fish, and the black shark went on a bit of a rampage and apparently killed about $700 worth of fish.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but huge fish. I still get comments on that video to this day saying that tank's too small for those fish, and it's like the whole point of the video was, we're moving it. We have to get it out of this tank because it's too small.
Right.
But 3-year-old video, and it still gets comments of people disgusted by the treatment of the animal. Units.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem. Is that like they're commenting before they even.
They're not even listening to the commentary or the dialogue going on in the video.
No, they're just not listening at all.
They're just seeing red. Oh.
Yep, they're just pissed.
Poor humans.
Yeah, that's all right though. You know how it is. They'll figure it out someday. They will get to the bottom of it at some point.
One would hope so. Some humans I don't have a lot of faith in, though.
Yeah, me neither. But majority of them are pretty good.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the one thing I always kind of like try to remind people, is that you often hear people it's like, oh, people are stupid, blah blah blah, whatever. And I get it, like I get being sort of grumpy or crass or whatever, and that's fine. But I always like try to remind people that like, yeah, but a majority of people are on the freeway and they're all just driving, going wherever they're going. You know what I mean? Like that's a majority of people. And then every once in a while, some idiot does something stupid, and then it's like, all of humanity is cursed. It's like, well, probably, there's 7 billion of us. Like somebody's gonna do something stupid, or 8 billion, or
the sensible people are just keeping their mouths shut and keeping their head down.
Yeah, which is most people.
That's right.
It's like most people aren't bank robbers.
And it's only the bad bank robbers that give bank robbers a bad name.
That's true. The ones that get caught.
Yeah, it was a huge shark. Huawei, huge. Oh, look, he's put a link in the chat to it as well. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Top up my views.
It's a huge shark. Take those views to the next level, dude.
I can't remember what the I think it was over 12,000 views last time I looked.
Yeah.
And my other most watched one, I think, was over 26,000 last time I looked. Still get the occasional comment on that one, but not as many as the black shark video.
I don't even know what my most watched video is anymore. I wonder what it is. Should I look?
Yeah, go on. It'll be interesting for you to find out.
It's in here somewhere. Analytics.
I know what my top 3 are, but I couldn't tell you what my 4th one is. So my 3rd one is then my brown snake battle video, which is also a fun watch and got stolen by a television network without my credit. I mean, I gave them permission if they put credit on the screen, but they didn't put my name on the screen.
There we go. See more. Lifetime. See what the most viewed is.
Yeah, I would imagine you'd have lots that are over 30,000 views, yeah?
Yeah.
Because you've been doing them for so long, and you're obviously a well-known channel with decent, solid quality information.
Content? What the? I don't even know where to find that anymore, honestly.
Just go into your videos and then sort the list by most viewed.
Oh, I'm in the wrong thing then. Let's go. Content. Videos, filter, most viewed. Views. Wait.
Should we do an over under before you say it? And get people put a number in the chat. What do you reckon? How many views do you think Joel's most watched video has?
Yeah.
I'm going to
What do you
say
think?
378,666.
Too high.
Too high. Oh, I thought I was being conservative.
No, my most viewed is this right here.
Oh, I
You
was
want
going
me
to wait for some numbers to come into the chat, see if anyone else wants to play.
I'm not sending it in yet, but I got it there. It's ready to go.
We've given them a clue that whatever I said was way too high.
I copied
you didn't
it.
say way too high, did you? You said it was too high.
Yeah.
And yeah, GRB, my most watched one is the under gravel filter video, which is pretty much not functioning anymore. Because I had to change my air pump, and where I put the outlets for my under gravel filter sit above the where the water line tends to sit in that tank. So I'm going to have to modify that when I get motivated back into the fish tanks. Generally, it's in the warmer weather when I can get around in shorts and a singlet and not worry about putting my arms in water and stuff. I find it hard to get motivated to fish tank about when as soon as you pull your arm out of the 26-degree water, you get goosebumps all over your body.
That is a problem. Yeah.
But, they're surviving. Haven't had a death for a long time. Touch wood.
Knock on wood. All right. Are the
Looks
guesses
like
in?
We've got 3 players.
We only got 3 guesses, so I guess I might as well. There you go. There it is.
And the survey says
Yeah, I have like a ton of middling videos, like 100,000, 150,000, 80,000, 60,000, 50,000, 50,000, 60,000, 80,000, 100,000. It's all crap. It's all crap like that. I don't have anything that's like, oh my god, that 2 million views. I don't have anything like that. So, but I guess that's the goal, right? You have to like get views or whatever. Like you gotta get them. And then you have had them. It's a thing. And then you have had those views, and then you got them. And then you put them in your pocket.
yes, Huawei. If we're doing Price is Right rules, Huawei got closest without going over. Bucket of kudos in the post to you, Huawei. That's your prize. You knew it was coming.
1 bucket of kudos.
It's a good sized bucket though. It's not a tiny little honey bucket.
That's true. Yeah, I've got all these weird video projects I'm working on, and I don't even know where to put them, because the whole thing is like, if I put them on a different channel, they're going to get 168 views, and then it's like, but I want to put it on my main channel because then like a lot of people will view it, right? But then if I put it on my main channel and it only gets 168 views, then I'm like, oh crap, that's not good, right? So yeah, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to be around, What are you doing there?
Oh, they've all come back again, but now the magpies are both here as well.
The chickens and the ravens.
The chickens and the magpies. The raven hasn't come back. He's very, very skittish around humans.
Yeah.
They tend to be, even though I've tried to offer him treats and stuff. But I know they fly off and sit over there in the trees, and I know they can see me, so I make sure they can see me putting meat and stuff out that they can come and take.
Yeah, the trick is to you put some pile of food out there, right? When you know they're around, and you're supposed to do it at the same time every day, right? And then when they invariably start leaving trinkets or their own little goodies, then you got to up the food ante, right? So you take the trinket and leave extra food, and that apparently is the big trick.
Yeah,
Although it sounds extraordinarily tedious and requires a whole lot of patience. And yeah, like
yeah. We have
you got to
so
do a
many
lot.
other birds that just will come and steal that food before the ravens are even aware of it.
Right. Well, I
Like
think that's
these,
why you got to do it. I think that's why you have to do it like the same time,
yeah, right.
because they know like, oh, early
Get the
morning,
routine.
I'll show up, and that dude's there, and he's got a snack, some beef jerky or something. He's got that beef jerky for me. Your boy. Your boy got some beef jerky.
I just really do love our local ravens. They're such a gorgeous bird.
Yeah, they're rad. They are my favorite. Over
They're
the last
sweet.
couple of years, I've actually finally got a couple of my own raven photos that are actually some raven photography that is reasonably good. Reasonably good.
Yeah,
Not the
I can't
best.
get them to sit still long enough because they're too skittish.
It is so hard to get a picture of them. I'll tell you that. It is. It ain't no easy feat. Those birds are on the lookout. They're paying attention. They don't like anybody. They don't like tomfoolery
Yeah,
or nonsense. They don't like it.
I think even if there is no people around, I think they're still just constantly on the move and constantly looking for threats.
Yeah, just cruising
Oh,
around.
it's quite funny. The magpie has come and taken a bunch of meat off the chicken carcass and then flown off with it, and both of the bin chickens have followed it way across the paddock and are now, I think, mugging it for its meat stash.
What
They're chasing it across the paddock, actually.
are you saying? You have a dead chicken out there or something?
Yeah, just a
Oh.
cooked chook from the shops.
Oh, it's like a cooked chicken, like some leftover.
Yeah, just like I generally buy one at the weekend to make like sandwiches. I think I used it in a instead of buying raw chicken, I just used chunks of that in a honey mustard chicken the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I didn't have much left on it, but once those things have been sat in the fridge for 3 or 4 days, I'd rather not chew on the very dry chicken meat.
Yeah.
Those store-bought cooked chickens are, they're at their prime when they're still hot from the shop and don't last much longer after that.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, don't maintain their awesome flavorness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Huawei, a video of crows cleaning ticks off wallabies. That'd be interesting.
That does sound interesting.
Sling us a link, braz. Oh, this wind is really making my bladder want to empty itself.
Oh.
I'm going to go do that right quick.
I'm currently looking at what the Dow Jones did today. It went from 29,000 to 600, and then it went right back down at the end of the day. So that's stupid. That's not very exciting. We don't like that. That's lacking excitement, folks. Very, very boring. And my investments went down. My investments went down today. Oh, no. We log out. We don't look at that. We don't look at that when our investing goes down. But overall, good year for having me put money into it. So that's good. Overall, it's good. Oh, there's my photos on my Instagrams. Yeah, I got a bunch of these. Got a bunch of photos. Got a bunch of photos up on here. 1,041 photos on the Instagram. Just imagine that. If you've never been exposed to my Instagram, you could look through 1,041 pictures of stuff that
I had an Instagram.
I do have an Instagram. It's got lots of pictures of stuff. Birds, me, fish, aquarium plants, a wolf, a crazy horse, some nonsense, the crawfish, dogs. It's got everything that you could ever want. Be aware if you show up and start looking at my Instagram, you're gonna be like, this is everything I ever wanted and more. Oh my god. No girls twerking though. I don't have any of that on there.
Oh, such a spoil sport.
Well, that's why my Instagram is not as popular.
Not as huge as it should be.
Yeah, you're supposed to have like workout butts and stuff like that on here. Well, I got to do a new picture of Murphy. Murphy is much larger now than the last. That's Ladybird. Large puffers are so photogenic. They just
always seem to
prime.
be smiling at you, don't they?
They're just prime for taking a picture of them. Yeah, maybe I'll pop over and take some photos of the Murfster tomorrow. El Murferino.
How old's that fish now? He must be getting on. It's been around
Murphy?
for yonks, hasn't he? Yeah. 4 or 5 years.
At least, yeah. 6 years? Something like that. 6 years?
What's that? They have a long life?
Yeah, they live quite a while. How long? Like 20 years, I think. First.
And do the freshwater ones have that same lovely toxin that the saltwater ones do?
What do you mean? In there.
The fugu ones.
Are
they even still related, or have they separated into different genus or species? Probably even separate genus to the saltwater ones, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think other puffers have toxins in them, but I don't know off the top of my head. How long do these guys live? Commonly live around 10 years in total, but I don't know how accurate that is because it's pretty rare that somebody would take specific care of such a fish for a long period of time very often, right? So if they say like, well, it's 10 years, there might have been one that was 20, there might have been one that was 5, and all of a sudden you're starting to look at an average age of 12, and then there's one that lived to be 8, and now you're at an average of 10 years, right? So I don't know how big the
control group.
How big the control group is. Because like right here, it's like a Mabu puffer can live for up to 10 years in captivity, longer in the wild. Well, it's like who's verifying that statement, that sentence? Like,
what do you find an old puffer fish and cut it in half and count the rings?
And count the rings or something, and be like, well, this one lived to be 15 because it's out in the wild. Yeah, I don't that's I honestly, like, when I find people's fish
got him
fish blogs or whatever, like I made a web page about a fish, you know what I mean? It's like, well, I gotta really take it with a grain of salt. I've definitely encountered a lot of fish related content on the internet that is like, that's not right. That's not even correct.
Chock full of generous estimates.
Yeah. It's like, look, I typed it out and I posted some pictures. I just made up some stuff. I see that. I see that a lot.
Prove me wrong.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. When was...
I missed the tree though. I've got to go and retrieve my ammo. I'm stupid.
So we did the...
only having one ball.
Yeah, so I was promoting the Real Fish Talk January 18th, 2018. So that math 4, 5, coming up on 5 years. So that fish is at least 5 years old. We were at... Where were we at? Convention in 2017. That's November, so that's 5 years ago. Keep scrolling. March 2017. How old is that fish? Kansas. Oh my God, what were we doing in Kansas? Home state of Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th president of these United States. Let's see. So I made this raven picture at the beginning of 2016. So that was 6 years ago. And then
that was when Murphy came on the scene 6 years ago.
Well, 6, 7 years ago. I'm trying to figure out exactly, because this was 2015. August 2015, and I was doing stuff with the coop then. So, but probably not much before that. Maybe before that a little bit. Let me look.
Oh, wow.
Instagram,
a true Australian would use a boomerang. That's all I got, mate.
It's like one of the reasons for having Instagram is like I can track what the hell happened over the last, 10 years or whatever pretty well. So this is 2014. Getting tattooed.
Someone mentioned a while ago too that I should have an air rifle. I do have an air rifle, but it's not functioning at the moment. It needs a repair before my old man's firearms license expires. Because I don't have one.
Oh, do you need an air rifle license?
You need a firearms license even for air rifles, yes.
Oh, okay.
And they're supposed to be locked in a gun safe too. But when my dad gave all of his guns that he had in his gun safe to my brother-in-law a year or so ago. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've still got my dodgy old BB gun, if you will, out in the garage. Not in a safe, but yeah, it's not functional. I think I might have messed it up as a kid, fiddling with it too much. But in saying that, it's been a hell of a long time since I've had it out. Maybe I'll get it out. It's not like it's going to explode in my face and give me powder burns.
That's true.
Pretty safe firearm to test for functionality. Although there is a couple of boomerangs here somewhere, Huawei. I'm just not sure how effective I would be at them. But I have, I've grown up throwing balls at targets and being very, very accurate. So I can rely on that. Plus, I don't really want to kill the thing. I just want to bop the funky, silly-looking bird in the head and make it run away, which seems to have worked
Yeah.
Although when I did just look out in the paddock as I was fetching my ball back, there's 3 of them now. So maybe they'll bring back a third one and I'll have more targets. Keeps me off the streets, you know?
Does it?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that keeps me off the streets.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'll shoot my eye out.
Yeah, you'll shoot your eye out. It's good. It's a pretty funny movie.
Well, is it a reference to a movie? I'm unfamiliar.
Mm-hmm. It's called A Christmas Story.
I don't know if I'm familiar with that one.
Oh, you should check that out. That's a classic.
Who does it have? It's
I
not
don't
the
know.
Ebenezer Scrooge one. A modern take on A Christmas Carol.
Let's see. It was came out in 1983. Peter Billingsley's in it. Ian Petrella, Scott Schwartz, Zach Ward, Melinda Dillon, Darren McGavin, Gene Shepard does the
I'm familiar with
voiceover.
all of those names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
As
but
you
it's
are.
it's a strong classic, my guy. Here you go. Copy. Oh, I should probably put that in our chat, huh? Our chat. Here we go.
Actually, that'd be a good test, yeah. So I can test if I can take, at least I can take links from there in StreamYard, but I can't copy links out of the StreamYard chat. I've got to open up YouTube.
No, you can't copy it. Just click on it.
No, in the private chat I can, but not out of the comments section in StreamYard. Because as soon as you hover over a comment, it darkens out as if you want to put it on the screen. So you can't just drag and copy it. Oh, here we go. One's come back alone. You're the brave one, aren't you? No, you're obviously not, because all I had to do was move and it ran for dear life.
What was it?
There you go, Huawei, if that's what you wanted.
What was it?
Lou. What? Huawei, when I said before he was getting a bucket of kudos for winning the guessing competition, he said he would have been happy with a burp. But, you know,
well, yeah. What animal just came by?
Oh, just the ibis again, the bin chicken. Sacred ibis, if you want. The sacred to the Egyptian bird.
Yeah.
What a prick. He even just, pecked a kookaburra to get to the other bits. I'm going to have to go after him now. Yeah, get amongst him, kookaburra.
Well, it got wild.
Yeah, the kookaburra fought back, though. They've got a pretty hefty beak, even though the ibis has a long, curved beak. I'd be much more afraid of a kookaburra beak, not a beep. Kookaburras don't beep, as far as I know. But yeah, ibises have too long a neck. They can't have too much force behind that beak. Kookaburra, short, thick neck, big, chunky beak. And, they smash things to death with their big beaks. I will get you, mate. It's obviously not the one I hit that's come back. Oh, no one needs to see my gut. But, we likes the kookaburras and the magpies and the ravens and the finches.
Mm-hmm.
But, ibises are bold enough. They'll find food where they want it. Do you get ibises over there? Do they migrate to the States?
Mm-mm. Not that I know of.
Yeah, we get 2 types, and they're mostly migratory, but I think in the last 20 years we actually have, they used to disappear over the winter, but now I think they have life too easy. That's why they're called bin chickens, is because they just hang out in cities and raid bins and stuff.
Oh yeah, they're just in the garbage can.
So yeah, they know how to find food. I mean, realistically, all birds know how to find food, but just some birds are lobbed with a unfortunate stigma that they're pricks.
Right.
Who's gonna? It is pretty fun to watch an ibis piss off a kookaburra, though. Like the little willy wagtails will sit on the kookaburras' backs and pigeon backs too. I've seen them do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're just having fun or if they're deliberately trying to piss the other birds off. They're good fun to watch. That ibis has got away with the drumstick. Poor kookaburra starved of a meal. But yeah, even when the kookaburras will get a even if it's just something like mincemeat, they'll go up onto the top rail of the fence, which is like a metal pipe, and they just smash their beak on it. It makes the most horrendous noise.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. They mustn't get headaches and stuff, because to me, if I'd bang my nose on a hard substance for quite a repeated session, I'm sure it would hurt after a while. But that's what they're designed for, I suppose. Banging shit to death.
Pretty much, yeah.
And if you haven't seen like a kookaburra pick up a snake and destroy a snake in no time flat by smashing it against a hard surface, it's pretty exciting to see. Or a lizard. They're not fussy what they eat. But yeah, I'm confused as to why, if they pick up something like a big ball of mincemeat, why they feel they've still got to go and smash it on something when they could just chew it up, swallow it. We don't have woodpeckers down here. Well, wait.
Yeah, you don't.
We got enough birds that decimate our trees and stuff. Apparently our cockatoo populations are different varieties of cockatoos too are in demise because they nest in tree hollows and stuff, and after all the bushfires from a year or two ago, lots of their nesting grounds have been decimated, and now they're fighting with other creatures for hollows in trees to breed in.
Mm-hmm.
So we're having less and less babies of cockatoos and stuff, which can be okay as well, because when they have healthy, speak of the devil, I can hear a little corella, which is a species of small cockatoo. When they have good seasons and they breed into massive numbers, they can be such a pest to farmers and timber producers and stuff like that. Even the big yellow-tailed black cockatoos that we get here, they get out in the big trees on the creek bank, and I don't know what they're looking for, or whether they just have to do it to keep their beaks and their jaw muscles strong, or their beak muscles, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just get into the trees and rip them apart for seemingly no reason, unless they're getting like grubs and other larvae out of the wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, they certainly cause a lot of damage to stuff.
That they do.
Do indeed do.
They do a do.
Pardon me. So yeah, I guess kookaburras are our version. Not kookaburras. What did I say? Cockatoos are our version of woodpeckers that make damage to trees.
Oh yeah.
But do woodpeckers do it? Are they looking for food, or are they building hollows for nests?
Both.
Both, right?
Both. So they're kind of interesting. They're kind of interesting little buggers, because a lot of their pecking that they do is in search for food. So they kind of find like dead trees and bust them open, and they're looking for bugs in there and stuff. So they'll leave like all these little peck marks all over a tree, and they're like, I bet you don't know what a dime is or whatever, but they're about like, a centimeter around holes, I guess. Centimeter. But then like when they aggressively start to build their nest is when they're a big pain in the ass, because they just keep whacking into the same spot over and over again, day in and day out. Just like what? And the best thing is when you get one that thinks that your house is a candidate, and it just starts banging on the siding of the house. Oh my god! You're like, what do you get out of here, stupid bird? Some of them are protected, but I don't believe the ones in my area are at all protected birds. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's when people get most pissed off at mostly the sulfur-crested cockatoo is when they get bored with destroying trees and then they get up and start ripping your eaves apart and stuff. Yeah, I figured the sound would have something to do with it, Huawei, that they'd hear differences in the density of the wood and whatnot, and probably little scritchings of the bugs moving around in the timber. Because you can certainly hear all those wood-eating larvae and whatnot. You can hear them when they're going about their business in wood if you listen carefully.
So we have 11 different species of woodpeckers in Washington State. I've seen some of these. Like this one, the pileated. I don't know how to say that. Woodpecker. You got a big red head and a black body and some white stripes. Those ones are pretty big. That's probably why I've seen them. They get up to about 20 inches. I've seen this little douche with the yellow stripe on his head. The American three-toed woodpecker. Black-backed woodpecker. White-head woodpecker. I've seen those guys. Red-breasted. Sapsuckers. These guys are idiots. The red-breasted sapsucker is a dumb, stupid bird. Although I wouldn't attack them or anything, but they're just idiots. Yeah. Lewis woodpecker and the red-naped sapsucker. Yeah, those ones are all idiots. All the sapsucker ones are dumb. They're just bozos, but they're cool.
Are they? I know it's probably a stretch, but I've always found woodpeckers to look similar to roadrunners. Are they by any chance in a similar family?
I don't believe so. I
did say I was going out on a limb.
Well, let me check. I don't think they are.
Could be a stretch.
I mean, hell, they might be, but I don't know. Woodpeckers and roadrunners.
Hey, my raven just popped back and then disappeared straight away. And he's getting chased by a magpie. That's why he took off, obviously. Saw the magpie.
Do you have roadrunners in Australia? I don't think so,
No.
right?
No.
Do you have little derpy birds like that run around on the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best one that probably resembles a woodpecker the most, not a woodpecker, a roadrunner, but is certainly not as agile on its feet as a roadrunner, is the pheasant kukul.
Oh, okay.
They are very well renowned for running out on the road in front of cars. I ran one over within the last 12 months and it was still alive. I'm not sure if I probably didn't do anything on my YouTube channel about it, but it was after our big flood. And I was going to help Sarah with some groceries and stuff because she was locked in with roads and shit. And I hit one on the road, took it, put it in a shopping bag with a towel, assuming it was dead. And then when I went to show Sarah and her son, one of her sons, when I met them, the thing was wide awake and jumped out in the car and ended up getting up underneath the driver's side console of the dashboard and right in underneath where the gear stick is.
Mm-hmm.
Trapped itself in there and had to get one of my sons to come and pull the stuff apart and drag it out of there. Stupid bird.
Yeah.
But really cute, and they make a funny noise too.
Okay, so we figured it out here. The roadrunner is related to the pheasant somehow. So it's in the quails and pheasants. Do you know what quails are? You ever seen those?
Yeah, we get
idiots?
them here. We
Yeah,
get
we
plenty
got
of them.
Got lots of those dum-dums. They got taken all over the world because they were food back in the day. And then the species in the family are the cuckoos.
So roadrunner's a cuckoo.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so those are the directly related is the cuckoos.
Does that
What's
mean
that?
roadrunners are nest parasites as well?
I don't think that they're known to be like a particularly beneficial bird. Let's see. Yeah, they're omnivorous. They're eating all sorts of crap. And I think that they hit nests of other birds. But let's check. Great roadrunners eat mostly animals. Okay, mostly anything they can catch. Small mammals, reptiles, frogs, toads, insects, centipedes, scorpions, and birds. Roadrunners also eat carrion and prey on bird eggs and chicks. Yep. They kill rattlesnakes by pecking them repeatedly in the head. They slam large prey, such as rodents and lizards, against a rock or the ground multiple times to break the bones and elongate the victim, making it easier to swallow. These opportunistic predators have also been known to grab birds from backyard feeders or nest boxes. In winter, fruit, seeds, and other plant material make up 10% of the roadrunner's diet. So yeah, they're just as far as that sort of solidifies the. So we don't have roadrunners where I live. I have to travel quite far to go find them. But I've seen them down in Arizona and New Mexico and stuff. And the overall like locals are like, yeah, whatever, it's roadrunner, yeah, but you know, like they're just sort of ambivalent to them existing. / they're just kind of around causing a ruckus sometimes. You know what I mean?
Sort of it underlines I was always more in favor of Wile E. Coyote than the roadrunner. Now
Right.
I know why. Those birds are pricks.
Yeah. Well, it's like chickens are pricks. They'll eat anything. They'll eat anything. What's the thing that they won't eat though? We figured out a thing that they don't eat.
Your ones at home.
Yeah. There's a thing that they don't eat. What the hell is it? It's completely unexpected. Carrots, maybe, or something. I forget what it is. And Vicky always yells at me for putting it in their compost, and I'm like, they'll eat it. And then invariably you go out there, and it's like it's the only thing left in there, and I'm just spacing on whatever it is. It's something stupid though.
Something that you would definitely expect them to eat.
Yeah, you'd be like, peck on that and eat it, and they're just like, nah, I'm good.
Maybe they're just spoiled for choice.
Well, they'll eat stuff that's toxic to them, so it's I don't think that they know what they're doing. They just for whatever reason don't. They're like, nah. Maybe it's zucchini or something. No, they eat zucchini. I don't know. It's something. I can't remember what it is, but they ultimately they want protein more than anything else. So
You've got to make those eggs.
if you throw steak in there or chicken in there, they're all over it, you know. Well, here's what's funny. Like, we had a bunch of salmon, like leftover salmon, and we fed our chickens all this like leftover salmon, man. And those were some rank eggs, man.
What eggs?
They were rank.
Oh, rank.
They were like, oh, those eggs, are they bad? Like, no, those are brand new salmon, like stinky salmon. Like, oh,
You could smell the salmon in the eggs.
Oh yeah, buddy. What you feed them is coming out their butt, you know.
G'day, Chewy.
And people always say they're like, chickens don't poop eggs, and I always have to remind people it's all the same hole. So they, in fact, do poop eggs. That's the same hole. And their poop is super hot. It's considered hot because it has very high ammonia in it.
Mm.
Because they poop and pee out the same hole at the same time. So there's a lot of pee in their poop, thusly making it you have to temper it for a season.
Yeah, you got
cool
to
it off.
partially decompose it before you use it.
Throw it in the old compost bin and let it rot for a year.
Get those gases out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
chickens will hunt and eat baby mice. Yep, 100%. Baby mice, baby rats. Big rats stand a chance because the big rats will bite their feet when the chickens come at them. And generally is a really bad thing because chicken feet are super tough, and like when a rat bites them, they're able to break through and like draw blood, and then normally that chicken gets an infection and dies. Yeah. And you're like, really, rat? Come on, man, just be murdered, right? You're like, hey, just be murdered because you're a stupid rat and nobody likes you. There was some critter running around in my yard earlier today, and I don't know what it was because it went. I saw it and went behind a shovel, and then I just saw a glimpse of it, and the dog was out there barking at it. I don't know if it was a possum. I'm guessing it was a possum because it was lumping around slow, and it went and hid behind a shovel, which is generally possum-like behavior. Like, idiot, you're behind a shovel. That's not. What are you doing, stupid? I don't think it was a rat. It was one of two things that would generally be in my yard, and it's either a possum or a bunny, because we are overrun with bunnies, my guy. We are overrun.
Yeah, I think that's one animal that bloody nearly everywhere on the planet, unless you're in Antarctica, has a problem with.
Well, it's just because no one's released them there yet. Somebody released.
Yeah, they'll find a way.
Somebody released bunnies from the East Coast of these United States. Somebody brought them all the way over here, and they got out somehow. And so over the last 20 years, slowly but surely, the bunny population has been spreading from that area, which, by the way, now I live like 40 miles from that area, and they're out here. They've made it out this far.
Doesn't take long because those things breed like rabbits.
Chickens. Wait. Rabbits. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it probably not so much at this time of year when it's cold, but give me a month and I can drive through my town and there'll be just feral rabbits in the street, in the gutters and whatnot. They're
going wild.
Yeah. They know how. And I can remember I can remember being a kid at a friend's place and they had guinea pigs running around in their backyard because someone had let their guinea pigs go and they were just running wild breeding. As well.
Those little buggers breed like crazy.
Yeah, they breed bigger than rabbits. They should probably be the analogy for that. Breed like guinea pigs.
Well, it took a while for people to bring them up from South America, but yeah, They're
so cute and so tasty, but they breed.
Well, that is a benefit for the cute and tasty.
Yeah, I suppose. They satisfy two trades, the pet trade and the food trade. Go on. You're doing the Mario theme song.
Maybe.
Did it.
It's going to bring them birds in. It's going to bring the bird of prey in. I've been playing around with this like AI art generator nonsense.
Yeah, it's bloody interesting, some of this AI stuff.
Mhm.
I found a channel the other day. I don't know if I spoke about it last week, but it was there's a couple of AI generated metal channels. And there's this one that's like he's up to like 6,000 songs or something. He's been streaming since 2021.
Right.
This AI code that he's generated, and it just keeps making these gent and metal songs.
Just
And
like
then there's
crazy.
another channel, and it's got like 4 different constant live streams on as well that are different types of metal and stuff. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy how good some of the stuff is.
This is my. Hold on. Let me. Man, they keep changing these buttons around. I still have, for the life of me, cannot figure out where the regular button is. Oh, there it is. It's over here now. There you go. Drew. This is what I'm working on right now.
And do you just hang on? I'll solo you. How do I do that? I push that one. Do you just enter in some keywords and it makes some stuff up?
Yeah, you basically are working on
Go bigger.
What's
if
that?
you can. Go
Oh,
make
hold
it
on.
a little bit bigger.
Let me see.
Ooh, Inception.
Oh, we hit Inception. Crap. Where was I? Over here? No. This will take a second. I don't remember what. Oh, it's right here. Okay, there we go. Make it bigger. He says. There.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I like it.
So you're basically working on a list of like modifiers, right? So you're starting out with like some idea. Let me steal someone else's idea down here. High-tech solar punk utopia in the Amazon rainforest, right? So that would be somebody's working on that, right? And it's one of their ideas that they're working on. And then you're adding on to make it more and more specific for the
what
AI
you
to generate, right? And so it's created these 4 images currently. So let's add. We can go and we can add like another something specific to it. So we can add like blue water falling. And now we can go through and we can generate some new previews, and then once you really have something previewed, then you can like extend it further from there. Which
just by adding some more keywords or something.
You can extend it further from it, like this being the starting point for the AI, right? So you could take this image and use this as the basis, and then go further from this, right? So like if let's say you have this image, instead of starting with your whole list of describers and description and all this kind of stuff, you could use this image to go further from, to refine it even further. Currently right now, I'm just messing around with it just to kind of see like where and how it kind of goes. And it's kind of fun to just like goof around with, you know. I've kind of got it to the point now where it's making some pretty like specific imagery, right? And then obviously if I want to save this image, I can just save it for later, you know, and then I can use that as an input later on. Like I don't know what's going on in this, but you can see like there definitely is like a theme to it. Whereas like kind of when you start, it starts out like really vanilla, you know, but you can keep going further and further down, and you end up with something like this, right? Which something like this, I can take this image personally and then start doing some drawings like related around this, right? Like I could take that image and then go with it and go run with it from there, right? Like if I printed out a big picture of a big version of that, then I could use that to inspire like making a painting inspired by that. Like obviously not copy and paste or anything, but use that as like my model for like kind of like what I'm working on or whatever, right? and then just use that as sort of the basis. But it's like it's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's well, okay, let me rephrase this. Long term, it's obviously going to be how people make art, right? Like that's just how it's going to be.
It's a bit quicker.
Oh, it's ridiculously faster. You really don't need to hone any kind of skill, realistically, you know. But I think it's more of a tool. I think people will overuse it as the basis of their art, right? But I think that it's a solid tool. It's like having a keyboard. You know, you can make notes, but it's going to take you a long time to like really perfect a song or how to play or whatever, right? I think ultimately it'll be like that. It will just be something in your toolbox of like, let's generate some random stuff for for something that will inspire like a finished product later down the line. Yeah.
And is it like a web-based thing, or did you have to buy the software?
Well, here's the website. I'll send you I'll link you the website. Because
look out! Someone's live stream must have.
I don't know if I want to throw the website in the chat, because if it's just you and I being ruined somehow by this website, like if there's some nefarious, something coming in, like I don't want to give it to everybody, so I haven't I won't put the website out there publicly.
We don't want to poison everyone's computers. G'day, Zen. Who else have we got? All Things Fish. How are you? Debbie Holding. Welcome. First timer, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's live stream ended. They've rated us.
That way. Even though it was only 3 people that came in. Maybe they only had 3 people watching.
They've rated us.
Who else did we get?
But that's good. Who's got to remember to remind them to subscribe and buy T-shirts.
Smash like, all those fun things. Don't be sorry, All Things Fish. Just be better.
So yeah, it's definitely been fun to like play with this. So here, let's
whoa, crikey, that
wind is
cold.
Let's go back to window region and we can go through our prompt here. So let's start with like rainbow fish swimming in the ocean. Hi.
Whoops. Oh, wow. He's 10,520 songs now.
Oh, really? So we could start out with rainbow fish swimming in the ocean, and our qualifier is just high definition. And let's see what it comes up with. Right? So as you can see, you've got some pretty rough. You guys, like there's not enough info here for the AI to like what is this? I don't know what this is, but it's probably not enough. So we could go exclude red. Waves crashing, dark theme. We'll go with like a dark theme and brooding, and then see what it comes up with.
That's pretty rapid that it can do those changes.
It's adding off of what it started with.
Yeah, right.
It's sort of using that as the qualifier. And like I said, you can go further and further. Once you have like a real starting point. Being eaten by space aliens. Oops. Being eaten by space aliens, fighting trolls in the woods. We can insert a bridge and some wizardry here after this. Oh, see. sometimes you kind of get you kind of will just continue to end up with something like this. So let's go back and we can actually start. We can redo this. So let's just go sharks in the sky. Oh, let's go in the night sky.
G'day,
Right.
Atkins.
We got
Edgar,
queued.
how are
We got queued. We got queued by the AI. We're in line. Excuse me. Yeah, so now we're starting to get some weird nonsense, like this image right here. You're like, huh? Okay, then
That one actually reminded me of a picture.
this looks like an
old
album.
60s picture that used to hang in
Yeah.
my uncle's house.
This looks like an album cover. You know, it just needs to say "Ween" in yellow down here. Yeah, so you can see it like really comes up with some strange stuff. We're not fighting trolls in the woods, but let's go.
Yeah, how did it put a backwards fin on that shark?
Right, this is going two directions. It's AI, man. That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
just doing.
Oh
It's
yeah,
coming up
right.
with
It's
its
got
own freaking
got another
craziness.
head to the left. I got
Let's
you.
go. Mecha robot in a favela in expressionist style. Yeah, you can really you can put in specific artists, you know, that it's gonna pull inspiration from, like classical paintings and stuff like that. Yep, that's a mecha robot in a favela. This one's like kind of street art. So you can, well, there you go. That's expressionist. There you go.
Very
There's
much
a
so.
mecha robot in a favela, an expressionist style. So that's pretty accurate. I guess this is like modern day expressionist because that's like spray paint. That looks like a graffiti, like a graph. Somebody did that. I don't know. Well, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah. Here, let's try the small cabin on top of a snowy mountain in the style of Disney.
That could go forever, couldn't it? You
Yeah.
just type anything and you'll be satisfied with at least one of the results.
Well, you'll definitely get something to work off of, you know.
Yeah.
You can go farther, and obviously, you know, with so one of the things that's I haven't joined this specific community here, but like with the AI stuff, the thing that you want to do is join a community that people can help you go further with it. So what you can do is take that finished file and then share it within the group, and people can help with sort of advancing the image and collaborate with you on stuff, and you get more dedicated like computer space and all that kind of crap to like go deeper and deeper and do all that kind of stuff. But like I said, it really is like a tool, you know. I think realistically it's a tool to sort of sit down and gather a lot of inspiration, really, more than anything. Like, I don't think you're gonna necessarily get a finished product unless you are just trying to make a goofy album cover.
Yeah.
That it's perfect for that. Like, you could just literally go on there and be like death metal band, blah blah blah, with Gandalf in the background and you know what, lightning and whatever. And
But yeah, like you say, a proper artist is going to use it more for inspiration than
right.
just using that as their work.
Well, it's like that shark. It's like the shark image with the shark going backwards and forwards. And why is it going? Why is it got multiple gills? And why are the gills? Why is it going forward and back? What's going on here? Like it's chaos.
Well, it's obviously it's got to go both directions to make both sets of gills work.
But you could take that image and use it as like your inspiration towards like, oh, this background, this red splashy background with the kind of fade cloud in there and the really kind of bright contrasty color, and then a shark flying, you know, you could go really make, you could kind of make stuff from that. Like I said, it really is going to like it's just an inspirational tool, you know.
Yeah, I put that gent one in the private chat as well as in the chat of this stream if you want to have a look at that at a later moment as well.
What's that?
The AI generated degent channel.
What is this? You put a YouTube link in here.
Yeah, that's the continual stream of the.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I've listened to this before. He had a couple of videos up of the making of it and like the first song and stuff. Yeah, and it's. I'm gonna be honest with you, like this is generally like what you hear from new metal bands. Let's be honest. Listen.
Yeah, I mean, it hits on some perlers every once in a while, but yeah, for the most of it, a lot of it is very generic. But
it's like,
hasn't got that much to draw on, I suppose.
The singing and choruses and stuff is when it gets like, what, huh? What is going on? What insane person stop doing that? This is crazy. An AI generated image that won an art contest in Colorado. Art contests are the most ridiculously stupid thing ever. I have to tell you. More often than not, there's so many qualifiers to just join an art contest that like generally somebody will just win that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But that's hilarious that they won $750 for an AI generated image. Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Plus, you got to rely on what judges you get.
Very much so.
That other link that I've just put in the chat is another one that actually has vocals in their stuff as well, which was what I thought AI would have the most trouble generating would be heavy metal vocals, but gets away with it. I mean, the songs aren't great, but it's classic metal.
Yeah, it's actually kind of nice. In Flames actually has some new record stuff coming out, which is actually pretty nice.
Yeah, they've been a bit quiet, haven't they?
What's that?
They've been a bit quiet, haven't they? I haven't heard anything of theirs for a long time.
Yeah, they got some new stuff coming out, which is good.
Yeah.
They've been playing all these like they've been playing live shows. That's what they like doing. Their biggest recent project was there's this old castle in Sweden that they played a show in. And that looked hella fun. It looked like a lot of fun. Would have been cool to have tried to go to that, but it was like 3 years ago now. So hopefully they do it again and I somehow find out it's happening and try and go. That'd be cool.
Yeah, well, it's good, especially these very complicated and technical metal bands. It's very, very good when you get one that actually can perform their music live.
Oh yeah, I've seen them live like 5 times or something.
Yeah, they're good live.
They are really good live. Yep. Their set makes sense. The the stage lights and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely over the top now as compared to what it used to be back in the day. Back in the day it was like, oh, so the lights come on and off. All right. When they want them to. Word. That's cool. Nowadays it's a little more
you can time a light with a bass drum?
Yeah. It's a little more extravagant now than it was, but it's not over the top. So I appreciate that. I appreciate it when it's like the musicianship is good. The songs maybe aren't exactly perfect. Like this is the live version versus the recorded version, but they're on time. They're done really well. That's what I like about a live performance. It's like, oh, you guys paid attention. You guys paid attention in band class, Like when it's band time,
making a proper show, isn't it?
Yeah, when it's band time and we got to go play our band time, it's time to do that, and be ready to do it. I practiced, right?
I remember back in the olden days when you'd play a show with 3 other bands or something, and you'd always be asked to do the lights for the other bands while you weren't playing and stuff, and I'd always just say no, it's just lights. But now I'm kind of wishing that I actually was interested and learnt a bit of the craft, because it's gotten so much more involved than it used to be, even though probably 97% of it is all computerized and done with a MIDI track or something.
Well, there's that, but like a friend of mine does light rigging and stuff. And when big bands come to town, and she makes a lot of money doing those shows. I mean, obviously it's not steady work every single day, but if you're there for setup, and you're there for the show, and you're there for the breakdown, and you make like $1,000 a day, you know, it's not bad. Plus, you get to see the show.
True.
From the rafters or whatever, you know.
Well, probably, I think, don't the lighting controllers sit right beside the sound engineer, so they've probably got one of the best seats in the house.
The controller does, but she does the rigging and stuff.
Ah, right.
She's one of the rigging crew, and apparently that is well worth the time. Plus, you get to post crazy pictures of you up on the gram. You know, it's like, I'm up here
pretending to be Eddie Vedder,
rigging lights for Poison, you know, or whatever. The Poison reunion tour. Like, did we need it? Don't know. Did people go see it? They sure did.
That's no good to hear, Aquaman, but what it does give you is an opportunity for a fresh start when you do get back up someday. Get it back up is what I meant to say. Yeah, those were the days. Playing music live. I don't know if I could do it these days. I'm too old and generally a little bit too drunk. Just kidding. I was drunk when I was playing live music. That's probably why the band didn't succeed.
Which one?
The band that I, came closest to success in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was probably more of a pisshead back then than I am now.
That's the problem. That's the problem. You start partying, and then the band goes downhill, man.
Yeah. I know that now, unfortunately. If only I'd learnt that, 15, 16 years ago when we were in our prime.
When it's time to play band, you gotta play band. You gotta be on point.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there was other like-minded individuals in the band as well, and we'd go and set up and then go and smoke 4 joints and slink some drinks before we'd start practicing, and then we'd practice for an hour and then go back out and have some more joints and more drinks, even though there were drinks going non-stop during practice.
Yep.
Not a good way to do it. You've got to be professional, boys and girls and others.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a level of professionalism. It's one of those weird things that, like, everybody that I know that has made it in the music industry,
solid work ethic,
like knowing when to win, right?
Yeah.
Very important. Very important. I don't even know if the solid work ethic is as important as
the
knowing
when to
when.
win.
Yeah,
that's a really good one. Where were you bloody 20 years ago to teach me that? You're probably still a child.
No, I was telling people when to win, and they weren't listening. And I was like, that's not my problem.
Jump on the bandwagon.
Not my problem. Yeah. No, I played in this band, and like a good example is like I played in this band, and the drummer. So like 24 pack of beer, right? 24 pack. He would bring two. He would bring 2 of those. He would bring 2 of those, and within like 2 hours of playing, most of that beer was gone. I mean, like there was a couple cans kicking around in the second case
underneath all the empties.
Yeah, and you're like, my God, man, and that guy's probably dead by now, but yeah, I mean, that was the downfall, is that like everybody was so hammered that like there was no way that anyone would remember this other than all of the everybody hammered after the fact, right? Um, that's what they would remember, just the chaos after, right? So, generally speaking, it's like when you try to leave an impression on somebody and the impression that you left on them is nothing to do with the thing you wanted them to remember about, it just doesn't go very far.
Yeah.
you know. Um,
I
I
can
don't know.
still. I remember a show that we played in a, not a huge venue, but yeah, I made the mistake of not eating very much that day and drinking considerably before the show. And by the time, like, this is when we would go on stage at like midnight or 1 o'clock after a couple of other bands had opened for us and stuff. And by the time we were on, I was already pretty pissed and playing guitar and looking down and then looking back up at the audience and looking back down at the guitar. It makes you a little bit giddy. So I sort of stumbled back and I ended up leaning on my guitar amp and staying there for about 3 songs because I just could not move. But my fingers were still working and stuff, as far as I know. They probably weren't. I was probably making a mess of it. But,
Yeah.
We still got claps and stuff, but we probably could have gone a lot further if half of us weren't doing heroin or getting incredibly drunk and whatnot.
Yeah. So like my old roommate, who's still one of my good buddies, he's about your age, he's a little older than me. And you mentioned Eddie Vedder earlier, and it reminded me that he was the guy that taught Mike McCready, the guitar player for Pearl Jam, how to play guitar. He was his teacher because he was like 2 years older than him in high school or something like that. And he came to him to learn guitar, and he ended up being his guitar teacher. Taught that guy. And so my old roommate, his brother was the drummer for Screaming Trees. And to this day, I cannot remember what band my roommate was in, but he opened for they opened for Poison. They opened for all these big bands in the late 80s and then through the 90s, all these like hair metal bands and stuff. They went on a bunch of tours and everything, and of course it didn't work because people didn't know when to say when, right? Or when to when, right? But things were going pretty good.
One of those people?
Things were going pretty good. And through his rock stardom, he ended up meeting these crazy like Russian guys who were in on the early .com like networking stuff. So you remember in the late 90s, people that could do computer stuff were wizards, right? It was like, this guy knows how to do computer stuff, right? Which, of course, the secret behind that was the computer stuff was not that complicated, right? Like running Ethernet cable, right? And networking computers together wasn't all that difficult. It was not that difficult to do back then because there wasn't a lot of information being passed from computer to computer, right? But those guys, they used to make all this money off doing all this networking stuff. So he started doing that for a while, right? And then he started getting a lot of success from that. And, he like owned a big house and he had all this stuff going and everything was going great. And then, unfortunately, his wife got sick and died randomly at like 40.
Ow.
And maybe 38 or something like that, 35. She died really young. And he just went like, there ain't nothing worth living for anymore kind of thing. And went to a real deep, dark place for about 5 years and then slowly worked his way out, and he didn't want to do networking anymore. He didn't want to try to pursue the music thing anymore, and he just decided to go to culinary school. He was like he's the old guy at the culinary school learning to cook. Yeah. And a hard road, but here we are like 15 years later, and dude's it's just working and living and doing his thing. But yeah, he literally had the taste of the actual rock stardom, like playing arena shows and stuff, opening for big bands and stuff. But yeah, one of my hold on, where's do I have a link to it? Hold on.
Lol. Magpie's pissed off that the raven's stealing its meat. Oh, and now they've just scared all the pigeons. Birds are so much fun, aren't they? Yeah, I got one with the tennis ball before ball space. Out of, I had 5 or 6 shots, but my 5th one got it.
Can I actually play?
Probably.
All right, hold on. Can you hear that? Hold on.
What are we seeing when it comes?
Let me go to their main channel here. There you go. These are 2 of my good friends that still make music to this day. And he so this guy toured with Depeche Mode later in life. They've toured with like KMFDM. They've toured with My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, like all those guys. They've toured with all sorts of people. He's been in the music industry independently forever. And he turned down like giant record deals. I still do not understand JP. There are times where I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, what? Okay, yeah, I'm not going to argue with you, but like, you're just making good, solid choices. He's like, I didn't want to do that record deal. It was not a good thing, and blah blah blah. And he just released it. He was like, I'll just release my own record, and it's enough money to live off of. Who cares? We'll just do that. And then he was in school for, I think he finished his doctorate in like social work, basically. Volunteers at the homeless shelter, does all this stuff, like has kids. He's just a rad dude. But they're still making music. Like he's got new songs out like 2-3 weeks ago. But he's one of the few people that has been stable this whole time and has like a weird following. It's very interesting. So like the Experience Music Project, like the big EMP here in Seattle. I don't know if you ever heard about it. It's this big music venue / music museum. So like Jimi Hendrix guitar is there and stuff like that. And it has this big venue that you can play in it. It's called the Sky Church. And it's weird because they played in the Sky Church like 2 weeks after the EMP opened. It was like this brand new big museum, and it was wild. Like, I went to the show and I realized that like there's like 500. It's sold out. There's like 500 people jammed into this this small venue. And everybody's here to like see JP's band, I'm like, that's weird.
No, if I knew you were going to be quiet, I wouldn't have typed.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm always quiet.
Yeah, I can't get the rubbers for the slingshot down here. When I used to have to get them, they're like elastic, the rubbery sections for the slingshot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I used to have to. I'd be in Brisbane, and there was a camping store up there that I knew of that sells them, that I'd get them from. But yeah, they
from the Doctor Supply.
They don't tend to last very long, especially if they're sat out in the sun, exposed to UV. So
Yeah,
you got to really look after your rubbers, ladies and gentlemen, and others.
that you do. All right, buddy. It's 10:30. I gotta go to bed. I gotta get up.
Roger D. We might just call it quits here, shall we?
I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah, let's
It's
do
your
that.
show. All right.
Thanks everyone for hanging out, especially if you've been here from the start to finish. We did forget to mention Replay Team 6 early in the piece, but you know who you are. You're watching right now.
That's
right now in the future.
Replay Team 6. Where you at?
Let us know. Let us know when you watched, when you felt it in the flagibitors.
Deep down
in the flagibitors. Take care, everyone. Thanks for modding Huawei and GRB as usual. What else can I say? I'm not, just so everyone knows, I'm not doing After the Bang Bang, the comedy show that I was doing as well anymore. Had a little bit of a falling out with the other person that I was doing that with. He doesn't seem to like me very much. I think I've got my ideas as to why the real reasons are, but I'm not going to go into them here. I'm going to keep them to myself to giggle at whilst I fall asleep at night. But yeah, no skin off my nose. It was good fun. I got my money back, and I'm going to let him use my name if he still wants to keep doing it. And all the best to him.
Do you have a camera now?
A camera?
Yeah.
I bought a webcam. I can't show it on camera because it's currently filming. I just got one of those Logitech 922s or something.
Mm-hmm. Do you have like a regular camera you can set up?
Well, my regular camera does not let me use it as a webcam. It's got an HDMI output on it.
No, I mean just to film like regular little things.
Yeah. I have my Nikon that I use for filming video and whatnot.
All right. I gotta figure out how to share my my Google Drop so you can drop video clips.
Why would I do that? So
into
you
my
can
cloud.
steal my footage.
Into my cloud. Yeah. We'll figure it out. We got to make some skits. I need some people to do some parts in skits. And I think we should do them in the style of like, one person's talking and then normally people play the other character, right? It's like one person playing 5 characters. I think we should do some skits like that, but not actually just have one person.
Yeah, I could be down for that. That sounds like fun.
It literally, we could just green screen us into wherever, right?
Yeah,
and just make the background, whatever this AI generated nonsense is.
Yeah, of course I am Huawei. That's my favorite. I'll never give that up.
All right, buddy. I got to go.
Righto, everyone and Corvus and everyone else will disappear, and we'll see you probably in about 6 days and 22 hours or something. 21 and a half even. Take it easy, and we'll see yous when we're